right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Reality Roundtable. I'm your host, Jonathan Brown, and today I got the host of Gym Dropper Sports with me, Shontis Stewart. Shontis, tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Hey man, my name is Shontis Stewart. A recent graduate from the University of South Carolina. I host my own podcast called Gym Dropper Sports. I also am featured on a podcast called the Panthers Brawl, courtesy of the Brawl Network. But mainly everything I do is about sports. So with my channel, I hit either the latest things that's going on in the sports world, so it could be breaking news, or I'll do my own expose type of stories and decide, I may want to hear a story that may have happened years ago, but just want to shed some more light on it. So that's basically who I am and what my channel is about.
And like the way that you give context to things, like you put it in kind of a cultural reference, like how what had happened back then can apply, and you put it in today's terms.
Yeah, man. I try to do that, man. I just feel like that there's a lot of things that's happened that a lot of people like our age or younger aren't well versed in, but because I'm just a student of this sports thing, man. I'm a sports junkie. I like going back and doing the history and stuff, but I like being able to bring that back up to people and just give them references that could apply. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like it's a whole bunch of stuff that came from the past that we still gotta know about. So I just feel like if I can do that, and that's my type of storytelling, I just gotta give it to the world.
Now with the idea of Gym Dropper Sports, how did that come about, and what made you want to do something like that?
So Gym Dropper Sports came from, honestly, I had one of my pro fights. He had started his own sports thing, and I had my own YouTube channel prior, but it was with a bunch of my homeboys, and we would just do like daily topics, general topics for everybody to enjoy. But I always knew I wanted to be a sports commentator, a sports figure. So I was like, man, I just sat around and waited. I'm like, man, I really need to go do what I really was called, what I feel like I was called to do, which is be a sports personality. So I just went ahead, jumped right into it, and it just stemmed from there. It all stemmed from our prior YouTube channel, Gym Droppers, and we just went from there.
And what was your original YouTube channel about?
We just did everyday topics. We would talk about relationship stuff, things, just dealing with everyday life, dealing with the mental health struggles, stuff like that. We really just hit like everything. It was just really like a talk show just for everybody.
Now, do you plan on getting back into that channel, or are you just gonna stick with sports for now?
Oh yeah, we're gonna get back into it. I think me and my homeboys, we've all decided to go and focus on our passion. So my passion is sports. I got another homeboy, Man. He does phone tech and stuff like that. He does technology. So he started his own tech channel. Then my other homeboy I did the show with, he did a life advice channel. He's got a whole channel just strictly on life advice. That's really his expertise. So we just all separated, want to do our own thing, but we definitely plan on getting back to it in the future. Once we start building up a bigger following on as individuals, we want to come back and just put it all back on the main channel.
Now, with your focus being on sports, and sports kind of coming back right now, with the NBA, the WNBA, the MLB, soccer, what is your take on all the sports being back?
It's great. I know it's great for the mental for almost everybody in America, because America's is run off entertainment. Like if there's no entertainment, man, we don't really operate well. Like we have to have something to keep us occupied. So sports is the biggest really, I hate to say distraction, but it's the biggest thing to help us not feel as bad about our situation right now. So I feel like it's necessary in the sense of getting everybody just to kind of feel like there's some normalcy. But I didn't predict that we would get sports this year. I didn't think the NBA would come back. I truly don't see how the NFL is going to operate under the circumstances. But it's great, but I still kind of feel trepidations about it, because we all know that, like, bro, it's not over yet.
Now, how do you think each sports league? What is your opinion on how each sports league handled trying to get back into sports?
I think the NBA has probably handled it the best. They have I think that the circumstances in which the NBA plays games anyway is more conducive to them being able to get back, because put everybody in a bubble, Nobody leaves. If you leave, you get tested. Everybody's getting tested every day. Even if you're here and you're good, you're still getting tested every day. So I think the NBA probably handled it the best. MLB, MLB. I mean, I know I heard that they've had. I think what team was it yesterday that had a reported case of COVID-19? I think it may have been the Marlins.
I'm not even sure. I haven't even heard about it.
Yeah, I saw it come up. I saw it yesterday on my phone. I mean, so that MLB's gonna be a little weird. I thought MLB could probably do it because there's less players on the field for a baseball game than there are football. So I thought MLB could pull it off, but they're struggling with that. Soccer, not gonna lie, I wouldn't have any idea what the hell they're doing. I just because it's MLS, and I don't think many people were going to the games anyway. I don't think they had too much to really worry about. So but WNBA, of course, they're doing the same thing at the NBA. They're working in the bubble. The NFL, I just don't see how they're gonna be able to come back. That just doesn't seem realistic to me at all.
Yeah, for me, I don't see the NFL season happening. I don't see college football happening.
No.
I don't see how the MLB can do this because with all the travel they have to do. See, with the NBA and the WNBA, they don't have to travel.
Right.
They're all condensed in one space. So I just don't see how the MLB will be able to finish their season. And with the NFL, it's just the fact that the owners and players, while they may have come to an agreement on testing procedures and getting training camp started, I just feel like that there's just a distrust between the two sides.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, we've already know this has been a contentious relationship between players and owners for what? We're going on probably like 2 decades now, like from back-to-back CBAs. I'm like, bro, they don't. There's no trust between those two. And mind you, the NFL not even really putting any real policies in place until the NFLPA put the pressure to them to do so. Like they weren't, they were just going to operate like at a normal rate, like nothing. So I mean, it just isn't realistic to see football coming back. College football's out. There's absolutely no way you can have a college football season. And if I'm a college athlete, especially if I'm a projected, first or second round pick, I don't play at all. I don't care if you have a season. You do not play.
So if you're Trevor Lawrence, you've played your last college football game.
You've done enough. Trevor Lawrence, there is nothing Trevor Lawrence can do now to prove to prove even more that he's a number one pick. If you didn't know Trevor Lawrence was a top 5 prospect, top really 1 or 2, and coming out, then you just didn't watch college football for the last 2 seasons. I can't help that. Justin Fields doesn't need to play another game.
Jamar Chase.
He absolutely does not have to play another game. He's done enough. You see what he did to AJ Terrell. He's done enough for he's done enough.
Don't speak on AJ Terrell. Even though I went to South Carolina, I was cheering for Clemson that game.
I know you were. And look, Jamar Chase has done quite enough. Bro. The top players shouldn't play. Trey Lance out of North Dakota State, you don't play. You don't have any, there's nothing to gain from playing now. This is really nothing to gain. And Clemson especially, because they've had 37 players be diagnosed with COVID-19. So
my thing with that is, if it's not safe for the students to come back to school, how in the world are you going to be able to have college football? Because remember, they're always preaching that they're students first, but they're athletes second. If that's what they preach. But if they preach that, then you have to go by what other students are doing. And if other students are not coming back to campus, then the players should not come back to campus then.
Yeah, but we already know the game with that, man. We know that whole student athlete thing is really just it's a whole facade. It hasn't been real since the inception of college sports. I mean, these guys are employees. Mm-hmm. These are employees, and they're being treated as such because, like you said, if the students aren't coming back, why would you subject athletes to something that you wouldn't allow regular students to be subjected to? These guys they're not getting paid. The rules have still not been passed to allow them to make money off of their likeness. They should not be put at any risk. You treat them just as much. You treat them the same way you treat a student. And if the students aren't coming back, athletes shouldn't come back either.
I mean, with that whole thing, I look at it like this. Okay, say like the students do come back. Everybody gets tested. Everybody, and let's just say hypothetically, everybody comes back negative. That's not gonna happen, but let's just say hypothetically.
Yeah.
Mind you, you can't confine students all into a bubble at a school. They're still gonna go out into the community of the school that they're at, and then they may come in contact with somebody who is positive for the coronavirus. They bring that back on the campus. Now everybody on campus is at risk. Even everybody off campus is at risk who comes on campus for classes. And with the athletes coming back, with the athletes, having to be in close proximity, not only with their teammates, but also with fellow students. I just don't see how this can work.
Yeah, I mean, we understand because we both just graduated. Most kids that go to these big schools, they don't live on campus.
Mm-mm.
Like they all live in off-campus apartments. So if everybody lived on campus, like okay, like at a D2 school, for example, where all the kids stay on campus, that a bubble type of deal could work because you don't have to leave the campus to go do anything. Like everything's right there. But man, University of South Carolina, there's no possible way you can do that. I mean, there's it's just no way. You have what over 30,000, 40,000 students. You have athletes that live in houses all across the city. There, man, I I I need people to. I predicted this months ago. I said, look, there will not be. I predicted we wouldn't have football. I was surprised the NFL worked their way to having it, but college football, there's just no way possible you can get that done.
But nah, I just look at it like this. Um, Even if you do try to confine people to a bubble, I just don't. You're gonna get pushback from the students because they're not gonna want to come on campus just to want to stay on campus the whole time.
Man, we know the people. We knowing the people we know. People want to have a kickback as soon as they get back to school. They want to link up with. They want to link up with the friends. Just go drink. It's just too many ways for this virus to spread at a more rapid pace than it already has, especially in South Carolina where it's third highest in the world. Like, yeah, you like, and then just imagine imagine the part of college football that would be affected. It's all the SEC, ACC out. Those schools cannot play, and that effectively. You can't play any SEC games in Florida. You can't play any games in South Carolina. This whole southern region of the United States is pretty much done for. You can I mean you just it just can't happen.
I mean, what are your thoughts on the whole conference only schedules?
I I like the suggestion. I like it for. I mean it just to me it still doesn't work. It just to me even that still doesn't work because I mean like bro, look at a conference like the ACC where you have a team like Boston College all the way in the Northeast that would still have to travel to come play a Clemson all the way in South Carolina. Like you still are just running into a lot of different factors that you just can't. Like I mean you just can't mitigate everything. I mean it's just I like there really isn't any good suggestion for this. I mean, unless you could work out a bubble like scenario, there really isn't. I don't think there's a good suggestion out there. I mean, I appreciate them for trying that, but even if it's a strictly conference schedule, it still couldn't happen.
Yeah, there's no way you can put college football. There's no way you can put college athletes in a bubble.
It's man, like it's just too much at risk. I mean, I think about the athletes themselves. Like I think about the athletes that aren't gonna be professional athletes. Like I mean, like yeah, I mean, why would you subject yourself to that? You know, I mean, it just doesn't make much sense to me, man. I mean, I know. I mean, I know from an athlete's perspective, they want to play. That's what
Yeah.
they do. They want to play, and I get that. But man, yeah, you talking about risking your life for a game?
Now, it really depends on what environment those athletes do come from, though.
Oh yeah, I know.
As a
I get that.
as to whether they want to come back to campus or not.
I mean,
But
oh, go
you
ahead.
saying?
Oh no, go ahead.
No, I was done. I was gonna pivot to something else, but what you about to say?
I was like, it, I just hope the athletes are thinking more so about themselves right now in this moment. I'm like, bro, because I'm telling you, I try to tell preachers to athletes all the time. they can replace you. You can be replaced. They can put yourself first. And it's all I can tell any athlete right now during this pandemic situation.
Now with everything that's going on in the world, you know, with the whole Black Lives Matter thing, and you know, with sports coming back and everything, athletes for some reason feel like they're more empowered to speak up in a sense. I mean, they'll go so far, but I don't think they'll like push that limit. But how are you feeling about athletes now speaking out more?
I appreciate it. I
Hmm.
appreciate it. But me and you both know that if you're not willing to take that next step,
Hmm.
not much is gonna get done. Like I said, I'll never be upset at somebody for speaking up and speaking out and trying to bring awareness. That's exactly what you should do. But as athletes, I mean, Kaepernick was the only one that seemingly made that type of sacrifice,
I mean,
and
Eric Reed did too.
Eric Reed did too. Eric Reed did too. I mean, people forget that, but Carolina unfortunately picked him up and gave him another shot. He played well, but I mean, Kaepernick was the only one that took that leap, and he never got it back. And I think that because of that, not many other athletes are willing to take that risk and risk of not getting it back. Like
Hmm.
everybody's willing to take a risk if they can always come back to the situation and it is fine. And not everybody's willing to take that big leap. And like I said, I don't ask those guys to make those decisions. I usually don't. I don't really look at athletes to be the spokesperson for me per
Hmm.
se. I don't leave it up to them. But I appreciate it. But I just know that there's still a tad more that there's still an extra step that a lot of these guys could go to.
Now, speaking of Kaepernick, I wouldn't be right without saying that the WNBA did take steps before Kaepernick did. They were out there, you know, protesting against police brutality before Kaepernick ever did take a knee. So I do want to give them credit. And do you see the New York Liberty and Seattle Storm game?
I did
With
not.
during the national anthem, they just walked off the court.
See, hey, look, man. I the WNBA definitely deserves a lot more love and recognition because they're the one group that's like you said. So far, they've been the first to everything. They've been like they're the first to step up and speak out. They're the first to
Hmm.
do a lot of things. I mean, and yeah, I mean, I gotta give more guy. You gotta give credit where credit is due. That that group, they just haven't been afraid of speaking out. And mind you, they don't have like if whatever they have gets taken away, they didn't have a lot. They haven't been given a whole lot to begin with as far as like what they've been paid, and they're
Hmm.
still the first. They're still the first to jump out the window when it's time to get something done.
Hmm. Now, speaking of them not being paid enough, like, what are your feelings on the pay gap in the WNBA?
I, you know, I appreciate, man. Look, okay, I'll start off by saying this. I appreciate the WNBA and their game because I mean, like, I appreciate women's college basketball. And I'm probably a bigger fan of women's college basketball than I am men's college basketball. So I know how good these women are. I know how talented they are. I know what they bring to the table.
Especially coming from the school we came
It's,
from.
it's, it's coming from the school we came from. You got to know how good, like how exciting women's basketball can be, and it's tough because if I was just going from a logistic perspective, like, hey, you don't bring in X amount of people, you can't get X amount of dollars, but they do deserve more than what they've been given to this point.
My thing with them is I would really love to see them make more money. And also like I just hate seeing them like fly on commercial planes.
Yeah,
Like the traveling conditions isn't good. They just got a new CBA where when they do travel, they just now get their own hotel room.
it's
Yeah, so
it's
it
just
is bad.
it's bad because like it's like how you would treat an AAU. I've seen AAU teams get treated better than that. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
I've seen AAU teams have hotels and travel situations worked out better than the WNBA has. So yeah, if you're a professional athlete, I want to see them be treated as professional athletes. Be treated to the same standard that every other professional athlete in that sport gets treated as. So, like I said, just having the simple things like travel, travel arrangements being more organized, hotels being arranged, like that type of stuff. Yeah, that has to. I mean, and that should just be the standard. Like, it's sad to me that that wasn't the standard for this long. You know what I'm saying? Because you think about professional athletes. I don't think if you were a professional athlete, you would ever think you would have to worry about travel arrangements to get to your next game, or where you're staying, or how your hotel is going to be set up.
I mean, think about it, women's basketball is the only game where from college to pros, your conditions actually get worse.
And exactly, because I mean, like, we came from the University of South Carolina. We understand the atmosphere that our women's team brought to the table. I was at the UConn game this past season. Like, that was a sold out arena. Everybody.
I was sick that day, so
Oh
I couldn't
my
even.
God.
I had a ticket and everything. Lord, I was mad. And
Look,
Stephon Gilmore was at that game too.
hey man, like, I understand like how, like, the environment they come from. I couldn't imagine being like an Asia Wilson, being like a superstar in college basketball, and then going to a situation where you don't even have the basic necessities even being taken care of. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a slap in the face to the athletes. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, it's a slap in the face to the work they do and what they've done. And like I said, as a league, they just have to, that's on the league. They have to get better at promoting their game. They have, and I mean, and hopefully, I know they're doing more things now. That they have more NBA players involved with helping promote their game. I mean, hopefully it just keeps getting better, and hopefully we'll just keep seeing that game, the women's game, grow more and more to the point where the NBA is.
Now, on that subject, when you talk about the NBA players helping promote it, I feel like this pandemic, in some ways, have actually helped the WNBA. Because I'm seeing people just talk about on social media even more than they ever would if it was like under regular circumstances.
Oh yeah, man. I think under the circumstances that we're under right now, I think we've seen just more people, like just regular people, do things or take initiative to things that they wouldn't have thought about before. Like, we've seen more people be active in, like, just may kind of veer on top, but we've seen more people be active in the streets and being active in protesting and being more adamant about actually protesting and fighting for their rights. I mean, I'm seeing more people just look at. I feel like the WNBA is going to get a lot more love because they've been active with a lot of social justice issues, and people are recognizing that, hey, these women need our support more than ever. We need to take initiative to watch their games, be fans, and really help them grow their game because they've been a big proponent of the Black community.
Mm-hmm. Now, are you familiar with the Kelly Loeffler situation?
I'm not.
Well, she's a U.S. senator from the state of Georgia who is the co-owner of the Atlanta Dream WNBA team.
Okay. Once you said that, okay, yeah, it came back to me. I remember bits and pieces, but you can just give me like a little refresher.
Well, basically, how the WNBA, they stood up and they're talking about Black Lives Matter. She came out against that, saying that we should not bring politics into sports, and she's not really for the whole Black Lives Matter movement. And with her saying that she doesn't want to bring politics into sports, but at the same time, she said that she wants to put American flags on the jerseys of her team.
Man, look, we don't. You know what? This is clown behavior. It's clown stuff, and that type of stuff right there is just comical to me because, like, it's all types of wrong. It's like watching a comedy sketch. It's really like watching a Key and Peele comedy sketch with how this woman's been acting about. I mean, the whole narrative about, oh, we don't bring politics into sports. Man, look. You bring politics into sports as soon as you play the national anthem at every game.
Mm-hmm.
Politics it's everywhere. I say everything touches everything. Everything moves on a string. So that I mean, look, man, we know what type. Look, if we're gonna be honest, we know what type of woman this is. We know what type of game she's playing. I mean, she was doing it for a reason, though, if I'm not mistaken. Is she running for some type of office or trying to be like somebody?
She's up for election right now. She didn't win her Senate seat, but she was appointed her Senate seat by Governor Brian Kemp. and
Yeah.
she's now running for re-election. So we'll see how that goes.
It's,
I think she's running against another Republican too. So I'm not really sure about that.
it's look, man. Bro. You said it right. It's election season. All the clowns come out for election season. Everybody's put on their clown suit. They're trying to entertain and do as much as they can do to get to garner any support that they can. Man, it's simply I don't even think she truly cares about half the stuff she said. I think she's just only doing this to garner her supporters and garner more support for what she's trying for really her ulterior motive, which is what you said. Being appointed to the Senate seat.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that is what it is. You know, I mean, I understand completely what she's trying to do right now.
I mean, it's not like she even needs the money. I mean, she's literally the richest person in Congress.
So I mean, you know, I mean, I'll say this. I mean, it may be kind of veering off topic from where you're trying to go, but it shows you right now that we need more black ownership in sports.
Absolutely, man.
It just that type of stuff right there shows you that you have to have more people that look like us in these seats and making these decisions, because stuff like that, like foolish behavior like that, doesn't happen when you have people that understand what's going on. You know.
Now you talk about clown season. I don't want to call this dude a clown because he may literally have some mental issues. But Kanye West.
Oh God.
What's your take on Kanye West right now?
Man, okay. I would take the usual route of saying, "Oh man, Kanye's just acting crazy, he's acting stupid," you know. But, bro, Kanye really needs help. Like I don't think they, and I really look more at the people around him right now than I look at him, because Kanye's been doing what he's been doing for years. We've seen these tirades and these episodes happen probably within the last decade. A lot of times within the last decade. I ain't looking at Kanye to change right now. Kanye is who he's gonna be. I'm looking at the people around him who either co-sign or just don't properly get the help that he needs. But again, at the end of the day, Kanye has to want the help. But fam, are y'all telling me nobody can take this man's phone? Like nobody can get this man's phone from him and get him off the internet right now. I just hope that the people around Kanye are doing what needs to be done, because if we've all recognized that everybody puts on a cape for him as soon as this happens. Chance the Rapper, Kim, all of his rappers, everybody puts on the cape for him when he does these things. But are these the same people that are working to get him the help when these things are when these things are happening? If you're rushing to put on the cape, be the first person to rush and get him some help when things start going left.
And I think Kim done put on the cape for Kanye for the last time. It seems like they're about to get a divorce.
Yeah, that's probably coming down the pipeline.
And it's just weird because I don't think they have a prenup, but Kanye literally said in the song, "If you ain't no punk, holla, we want prenup. We want prenup." So it's very, very contradictory to me.
If Kanye listened to Kanye, he wouldn't be in this situation right now.
See, I judge Kanye by two different standards. I judge Kanye by pre-Kardashian Kanye and post-Kardashian Kanye.
Man, this the guy that we first met wasn't. I couldn't have foreseen him turning into this. You know, Kanye has always been he's always been a brash individual. He's always had his own opinions on things, but they usually still align with the black community for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, it really wasn't until he got with Kim, then we start seeing some changes and stuff. Now he's selling T-shirts with holes in them, and all right, man. He got the bulky shoe thing going on, like all right.
Now, mind you, why I would not buy any of Kanye's fashion, it has made him a lot of money. So he's doing something right in that instance.
Oh, the guy's still a genius at the end of the day. He still understands. He's always going to be good at making good product, except for making his own albums right now. You know, he's great at producing everybody else's stuff, just not his own right now. But
that's actually exactly how I feel, because if you listen to Pusha T's album, he did a good job on that.
Bro, look, man, don't take it away from him. He is still musically inclined. He just isn't musically inclined for himself. Hey.
Lord, have you listened to his gospel album?
What was it? The Jesus King.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll listen to it. You know, look. Okay. All right. I just, I just, it's not it doesn't sound bad. It doesn't sound bad at all. It's just, I don't think I'm going to Kanye for a gospel album. Like something in my spirit just don't sit right with listening to a Kanye gospel album. That's just nothing necessarily wrong with the album itself. I don't have a real music critique for it. I
guess if Snoop Dogg can make a gospel album, Kanye can make a gospel.
I guess. But the Kanye I remember is like, I remember Kanye from the late 2000s, early 2010s, when that whole Illuminati thing was going on. I remember that Kanye, and I just be like, you know what, bro? I don't even know if I can rock with you like that.
Oh, so you stopped rocking with him before he got with Kim?
Yeah, because I was a big Illuminati conspiracy theorist at the time when I was younger. I believed the whole. I believe the whole thing. Then I kind of got out of it. I'm like, bro, I was like, bro, like, why is it whenever somebody's rich and black, they gotta be in the Illuminati? I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna leave this alone.
Man, that's funny. That was a lie. Oh man, I think I'm gonna end it right there, man. But thank you everybody for joining me on the Reality Roundtable. I thank Shontis for coming on to the show. Check out Gem Dropper Sports on YouTube. Check out the Panthers Brawl. I've checked it out. I've actually been a guest on both of them, actually.
Yeah. Yep.
Also, quick shout out to Reality. Yeah, not the Reality Roundtable, but Dominate the Decade, that podcast.
Oh yeah, sir. Great content over there. Great content from those guys.
Shout out to Way of the Eight, aspiring abolitionists, and sportscasters. They just started over there.
Oh yeah, gotta love it, man. I love seeing all the black creators, man. I really love seeing it, man.
It's a good time to be creative. I mean, we're all in the house. I mean, you're supposed to be in the house.
Supposed to be.
Yeah, but this has been another episode of Reality Roundtable. I'm your host, Jonathan Brown, and I'll see you next time.